Hello, and welcome to another episode of Oxygen Not Included. This time around, we're going to be focusing on finishing up our oxygen system here, and getting that set up, and then if we have any time left over, we are going to set up a bit of automation for our ranches and food collecting. So we can hopefully get all these little farms out of here and replace them with barbecue. So people can get the kind of bonus from eating barbecue on top of being able to, house more food with less effort. Alright, so first things first, we are going to re-explain what we did last episode, which is kind of what we built here. What we've done here is we've set up the bottom parts of the full Rodriguez SPOM that I had linked a video to in the last episode, episode 5. I'll link it again in this episode in the description. But the basic idea of it is these electrolyzers are going to turn water into hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen's going to get stuck up here where this gas pump is, and that's going to go up and power all the hydrogen generators that we're going to have up here. And then all the oxygen is going to be forced down here, where it's going to get picked up by these gas pumps, and then we can pump those into our base, right? And what we're using for water is a cool salt slush geyser, which is going to be producing about 4.6 tons a second, right? Or no, that's 4,625 grams per second, sorry, 4.6 kilograms. And of brine, right? And then what we have down here is a liquid tepidizer, which is going to heat up the brine until it's around 1 degree Celsius, so it's warm enough to be pumped out of the liquid pump, put into a desalinator, and then it'll turn the brine into water, right? It'll separate the salt from the water, and the salt, the duplicants will just have to manually empty, and then the clean water will go in. The reason why we need the liquid tepidizer, right, is currently the brine's at -9 degrees Celsius. If you turn brine into solid water at -9 degrees Celsius, that water's just going to turn into ice, right? Because it can't survive in a liquid state at that cold of a temperature. So you got to heat it up first. And we just did that through a bit of automation, right? So we have the thermosensor telling, okay, if it's below 1 degree Celsius, turn on the tepidizer to warm it up till it is 1 degree Celsius, and then does the opposite of the pump. We want the pump to be off when the tepidizer's on, and for the pump to be on when the tepidizer's off. So that's kind of what we have set up here. Automation-wise up here, we're going to have one Atmos sensor up here that says if the gas is above 250 grams, and then we're going to set up 2 more Atmos sensors here and here. And oh well, let me go get ourselves another rock crusher. And basically, we're gonna have these 2 go to these 3, and this one go to these 3, and basically say if it gets above 450 grams. You can copy that over here as well. So we're gonna just create some automation wires that pair those up. Alrighty, so we've finished building up our little bottom area down here, and I had them sweep it all out and get all the fluids and stuff out of there. So moving on to the next part is the beginnings of what's going to power all this, right? And the way it works is you want to first start out with a power transformer. I apologize. First of all, you want to make sure your top right here is flat, right? I think before these 3 tiles here and these 3 tiles here were missing. You want to put those in to have a nice flat floor. You want to throw in a power transformer, smart battery, hydrogen generator, and a large power transformer. You get the large power transformer from researching low resistance conductors. Comes right after advanced power regulation. The large power transformer and your smart battery will require refined gold. So you're going to want to bring back your rock crusher and get that going again. With that, you're going to want to take a heavy watt wire and connect all of the 2 large terminals of your transformers, your hydrogen generator, and your smart battery, right? Then you're going to come in here with your automation wire. You don't have to use gold. And just connect your smart battery up to the hydrogen generator, and eventually the 3 other hydrogen generators that you're going to build up here. So with that, I'm going to let them finish building this up as we work on the second floor. So, in the process of building our second floor here, Stinky has managed to get himself trapped because they thought it was an amazing idea to not build the ladders and dig this area out, which I had a higher priority, but to instead come in from the top. Because this Stinky has now trapped himself and is forced to breathe in slime lung polluted oxygen and normal oxygen. Now, this is entirely his fault, and we decided to put in some top priority work here to get him out, and hope that it happens soon. Problem is we're waiting for Bubbles to come on down here, but Bubbles has to refill that mask. Because Bubbles and Stinky are the only 2 people who can mine Abyssalite, and Stinky can't reach it, so that's fun. Hopefully Bubbles can come up here and save his life. And we've dug out the area. Can we get at least some of these built in? Yep, it looks like alright. Stinky gets to live another day, and in the meantime I can do a bit of explanation what we're doing here, right? So we got about 3 blocks tall for the first floor of your power block here, right? And then you can have your airflow tiles and 1 heavy watt joint about the center. And then you're going to have another room that is about 3 tiles tall, and then your roof. You can do 4 and 4, it's not a big deal. But hydrogen generators are going to be your tallest buildings, and they're only 3 blocks tall. It also allows you to build a roof from the floor instead of having to dig above and build it from up here. Right, because duplicants can reach up to 4 blocks from the ground they're standing on. So because of this, since we've cut out this floor, what we're going to do is show off, we're going to take our hydrogen generator, and I didn't mention this before, make sure everything you're building is out of gold, right, and that includes the generators. This is because the temperature in here is going to get above 75 degrees Celsius, and that'll overheat copper and other metals, but it won't overheat gold, which has an overheat temperature of 125. Basically, the idea behind this is we're going to have hydrogen going through, hydrogen being produced from your electrolyzers, which no matter what will always produce hydrogen at 75 degrees Celsius. That hydrogen is going to go through good old radiant gas pipes, which send out heat or transfer heat really well, back and forth throughout this whole room, basically making the whole room around 75 degrees Celsius. The machines are going to operate in that room, and they are going to want to heat up, but always get cooled back down to 75 degrees Celsius because of the radiant gas tiles. That's just how the game works. May not be 100% accurate to how real-life thermodynamics works. But the game, you know, isn't fully scientific. Just, you know, it's just scientific enough to be fun, right? So I'm going to let them finish this up, and we'll go on to the next step. In the process of constructing our little oxygen machine, we seem to have kidnapped a puff prince. Now, I don't really want to kill the puff prince, but the puff prince can't stay here. So what we're going to do is Operation Rescue him. We get ourselves a critter drop off, and we are going to throw it here. That should hopefully get him out of the way. And then we are going to wrangle him. Oh, cannot wrangle. Oh, yeah, you have to catch him with a critter trap. Huh. So, the thing with, flying critters is you can't wrangle them, right? You have to use what's called a critter trap. The problem with this is we don't have plastic, and critter traps require plastic. So what we're gonna do is hope and pray that he leaves, and if not, well, then, you know, he chose this choice, and we'll either lock him in the room with the machinery, or we will murder him for meat. So, oh, is he gonna come out? No. Alright, we'll see which happens. So, as we're cleaning up our upstairs kind of power area, which, by the way, the Puff Prince has decided to leave for now, but he is going inside and out of the lower area as well, which he cannot stay in the lower area, definitely. If he does end up stuck down here, by the time we need to close things out, right, because we'll be having slime get put into the place that we're going to be filtering all of our oxygen out of. But, back to what I was saying, yes. In our printing pod, right, we have a snazzier red suit. So this is part of a more recent update, in which you can get a machine that, where is it? It's down here somewhere. Here it is. The clothing refashionator, which you can use the textile looms. The textile loom will turn reed fibers into snazzy suits, and then you can turn those snazzy suits into different forms of snazzy suits. This being an example, I just clicked colony achievements instead of print. We gotta wait for this to do everything. Yes. Okay. Right. And we get a snazzier red suit that we're gonna give to someone. We're gonna give to Stinky, because Stinky is the best out of all of them. So, whenever Stinky has time, he's gonna go ahead and do that. We do have someone who is a bit stressed, and that's Meat. Meat's a bit stressed, only because he's sopping wet, he's hungry, he's stressed, and he's been up here in the cold for a very long time. Honestly, I don't blame him. It's been rough, but once we get this oxygen set up, you know, we can start getting Atmos suits, and with Atmos suits and such, you know, people have less contact with water and stuff like that. So if Stinky's stress getting about the 80 percentile, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and make a new schedule of downtime and sleep. And that's kind of like my emergency schedule in case someone's about to be 100% stressed. I just throw them on there and they can chill for a couple of cycles and calm down and go ahead and get their stress lower before they get back to work. So right now I'm collecting a bit more algae to make up for the oxygen before we get this set up, and I'm gonna wait for them to finish cleaning this out. Alrighty, well, I ended up having to throw good old Meep onto the downtime schedule, only just because he was at 91%. The good old Puff Prince has decided to move himself back into our humble abode here, which, you know, very much do not appreciate. And with that, however, I believe, yep, we are, this is kind of how you want your heavy wall wire to be hooked up to connect all your generators together. You're going to connect to your smart battery, which is at 90 and 10. Automation is from smart battery to all of your hydrogen generators. And then for powering your wires and stuff down here, you can just plug in these two. Plug in these two, so that's 240, 480, plus another 240, should be 600, and, why am I blanking? 240, 480, 2448, 56, 560. Oh my gosh. $180, 600, 720. Oh my gosh. I cannot do math. Okay. So you can plug in one more. Right, so this should be enough to fit on a 1000 watt wire. 246, 8. Yeah. 960. The rest of this is going to be powered on the other line using a conductive wire, because conductive wires can have up to 2,000 watts, and that's why we're connecting it up to a large power transformer which can output 4 kilowatts. So we're going to do power, conductive wire, we're going to use our copper. It's not that big a deal. We don't need to worry about overheating or anything like that when it comes to this. And you can just plug all those things up. Beyond this, we're going to work on our gas pipes. We are going to take our lovely gas bridge and we're going to put it right about here. And we're going to have an insulated pipe come up like that. That's going to insulate pipe there. And then we can have, so hydrogen's going to get piped through this pipe. You're going to want it to take the bridge, which is it always takes bridges first. So it's going to fill up through the bridge first, which is going to power everything. And if this all gets filled up, because we're going to produce more hydrogen than we consume, the excess can come out here and down where you can build another hydrogen generator down here to eat up your excess. So with that, we're going to take our radiant pipes, switch over to gold. We're just going to plug it in like so, back and forth in a little snake-like manner, just like that. And they're gonna go and build all this, and then that'll allow us to kind of keep the place nice and regulated temperature-wise. And I'm gonna keep all this water and stuff on the ground, only because water also helps dissipate temperatures. So it won't hurt to have the machines be sitting in water like that. Down here for ventilation, all you gotta do is just connect up every two gas pumps, just like that. So you have a total of 3 outputs. And that's pretty much all you have to do. At this point, all you gotta do is just make sure you build up the rest of your radiant gas pipes, and then close off the top, and then you can close off the bottom. And with that, all you gotta do is ventilate and gas out the entirety of the bottom area, make it a vacuum, then get some water going in and start letting the gas separate. And then once that's good, and once you only have hydrogen coming up here and only oxygen coming out down here, you can plug it into your base. So I'm gonna let them finish building this up, and we're gonna set up our excess hydrogen generator, and we're gonna pipe that insulated gas into it, just like so, and then we are good to go. What we're gonna have to do now is take our main power line we have down here and run it all the way up, over and up, and then power everything. I think it's okay. Yeah, we can plug our desalinator into its own, into the main power grid. That's not too big of a deal. And this automatic dispenser only existed just so I could sweep up some ice and put it there, so we can deconstruct that. But you know, we're gonna take another power transformer just like so, and we're gonna put this bad boy right here. So actually I'm going to go ahead and cancel that one, and deconstruct this. We'll go power, heavy walt wire, and bring it back down like so. And it's only gonna be 1,000 watts actually. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna deconstruct our desalinator, move it one to the right, and put in another large power transformer, because we can then use conductive wiring to power this stuff up. So we can have it go like that, and then come down. Then we can have ourselves a bridge and connect up the rest of it. And then our large power transformer will go right here. So, I will let them construct that. Alrighty, so we got our power grid plugged in here. We have our large power transformer going ahead and powering up our desalinator, our pump, and our liquid tepidizer. Our pool has now gone to about 1 degree Celsius, and the liquid in here is about negative 0.5, coming out at 0.5. It should be okay. When we turn it on, it'll move more, right? The liquid will be more in motion, and it'll fix itself. So we can close off our bottom half here. And go ahead and... well, actually, I don't suggest closing off this top half just yet, because most likely what's going to happen is a bit of oxygen may come up here into this system, and it's good for your duplicants to be able to come up here and repair the machine, the hydrogen. Okay, Ren, don't build yourself in, please. Thank you. Alrighty. Well, we're going to finish that up. And we are going to plug this bad boy in. The way we're going to do that is just plug it into our main power grid just for a second. And it will allow this to get going. There is one slight issue. That's the fact that we don't have high pressure gas vents due to our lack of plastic, right? So because we don't have high pressure gas vents, meaning we can only output the gas we can only output the gas when there's already, you know, insufficient gas in an area, right? Not 2 kilograms. Meaning, to empty this place out, we're going to need to find somewhere to dump it all. And I'm thinking that's going to be space. So let's build our ladder up to space real quick. Just a quick reminder, we now have stone hatches going, and we no longer really need normal hatches. Make sure you set this to auto wrangle surplus, and we're just looking for stone hatchlings. So when the stone hatchlings grow into hatches, that they'll come down here and get put down, or dropped off. Literally said every incorrect word. I unselected hatch, and now I've only selected stone hatch. So if stone hatches just start ending up down here. Luckily, stone hatches also eat sedimentary rock, but if our sedimentary rock decreases too much, we'll move them over to granite, probably. Because we got 130 tons of that. Also, our ladder up to space is slowly making its way up there. Alrighty, so our ladder has been dug up, and we see the surface finally. And what I've done here is I'm just going to build up ladder and our fire pole, and we're going to have a double manual airlock kind of just set up here to prevent the least amount of gas as possible leaving our base. I really don't, it's not that big a deal. You don't really have to worry about it. We'll just do that. Also, fun fact, all this area is super cold because it's mostly mafic rock and ice, polluted ice. It's the very edge of your asteroid, so it makes sense for it to be cold and the bottom to be super hot. So, with that, we can now take our gas here. Well, actually, I think just so I don't have the annoyance of having to do this, build multiple of these paths, we're just going to use one of these to vent out the place. Just like that. Fix that. And we're going to do ventilation, gas vents. Throw that bad boy there. Alright, well, I'm going to wait for that to get built, and then what we're going to do is turn on our machine here, and just let these 2 gas pumps over here just kind of turn the whole thing into a, what's the word? Vacuum. There we go. And just to make sure that it is a vacuum, we can just cut that off. And what else? We don't want those running. We don't want these running either. So what we're gonna have to do is break back in here and then redo our wiring. Because if we bring our wiring down the middle here like that, whoop, whoop, just like that. Then we can snip the wires either way just like that and just power these guys without powering the things that are going to actually produce oxygen. Because the last thing we want is to fill the room up with gas as we're trying to make it a vacuum, right? So. Alrighty, 6, construction. We'll let them finish that up. Then we're going to clean up, close that up, and get this pipe set up. Alrighty, so our manual airlock is getting rebuilt because I accidentally had it a little too high because gas exposure is about here. And we should have this starting to empty out our area and piping it out into space. We see? Yep, there it goes. Alright, so now we're just going to sit here and wait the while that it's going to take to get and make this place a nice vacuum. Just a quick reminder, if you notice these guys stop working while you're trying to make it a vacuum, it's probably because your Atmos sensor still says above 450 grams. So just set that to 0, and it'll always stay on. Alrighty, so it's now a vacuum in here. So what we're going to do is just pause our game. We're going to re-plug everything back in, as it should be. Yippers. Let's copy this settings back over to here since this was at 0. Make sure this is above 250. And we're going to play it, so it should immediately start producing gas. Now, immediately, this guy's going to start taking in some oxygen, and these guys may even take in some hydrogen. Just be aware of that. There may be a bit of hydrogen, right? It's always good to just keep this one that goes into space for just a little bit longer until you get this nice separation that you're looking for. You want this little area to also be full of hydrogen. So you want to look for hydrogen along this line, here, and up here in this little cozy, and everything underneath will be oxygen. For the first little bit, you're probably going to see a lot of this and a lot of wrong element damage. But I'll be right back when it's ready. Sometimes when you're waiting for this to happen, it helps to just set this to below instead of above. A lot of hydrogen kind of build up. And that should hopefully cause all this excess little oxygen to just get pushed down right here. And allow more hydrogen up here. And the only oxygen you gotta get rid of is this little spot. So we're just gonna let a bit of hydrogen build up, like so. And switch that to above. And we hope that it goes ahead and takes care of this oxygen that's kind of built up here. Alright, we're lower in, getting smaller, less and less. Looking good. 2, 1. Ugh. Little bits of oxygen are just coming in down here and filling this void back up. Come on! Okay, well I'll be back when it fixes this up. Alrighty, so what I did is I just set up the left side to go on the same route as the right side so it evenly pulled from both bottoms. But now we have a nice hydrogen layer on top and a nice oxygen layer on bottom, above, above, above. We can go ahead and take this guy, plug him in, and we can deconstruct you, and then bring you down like so. Connect these two up, and cut off that one, because that one's just going to space. And these two should, yep. Copy, plug that bad boy in. Well, actually, let that carbon dioxide go away first. We can delete this. Delete our gas pump and our gas filter. We don't need all that anymore. We just take this bad boy, plug it directly into our oxygen masks. So we got one line, our leftmost line, going to be for our oxygen masks, and then the middle line is going to be for delivering air to our base from here, here, and here. When it comes to vents, I like to put one near the bottom, middle, near the top. Good thing too, because we were starting to run out low on oxygen anyways, because I've been fighting the fact that we've pretty much been out of algae for the past couple cycles. But we watch, oxygen should be coming in and filling those guys up, and oxygen should be coming down and filling this up too. Now, one thing is, if you look in here, our oxygen is going to be about 50 and it's going to go all the way up to 75, right? And we really need to find a way to cool it. Right now we're just using the biome itself to cool the area down. Right, so what we can do is just, right, because they're coming out at 50, leaving in 30. So we're losing about 20 degrees Celsius. We can come in here and do a gold rating gas pipe, let's say about these two and these two. Well, actually, this one doesn't need to be a certain temperature. The air that goes into your masks isn't a big deal if that's warm. You want the air in your base to be nice and cool. So we'll put in those two radiant ones and cool off the air going into our base. That's pretty much it. We've set it up, and this machine right here will produce enough oxygen for 30 duplicates. We have 8. So is it overkill? Yes, but it's great for pumping clean air into a bunch of different places in your base, and also providing air for oxygen masks and eventually Atmos suits as well. And also you have some spare oxygen if you need to, you know, make some oxalite in the future and stuff like that. We put in our 2 radiant titles, so we got oxygen coming in around 50, and it's leaving at around 35. It'll cool down even more because, as I said, we're producing oxygen for 30 duplicates. Once our base gets up to max gas, the air in this pipe won't be moving as fast, and so it'll be sitting on this cold part for longer, and it'll cool off the overall oxygen. So with that, I think that's going to be the end of today's episode. I think we did pretty good. We managed to build our SPOM. Also, this thing is self-sustaining, so you don't need this anymore. It'll just power itself forever now, and produce a little bit of excess power for your main grid. But with that, that's going to be the end of today's episode. I really appreciate it, and just as a reference, my channel's been growing a lot, and I'm very excited, and I'm very happy about it. I love seeing the feedback. My Satisfactory series popped off like out of nowhere. I love seeing the continual watchers of this series, and all I ask of y'all is just to please leave a like on the video, subscribe. Really helps, you know, if you know the likes get up and subscribes get up, more people may get recommended my videos, and it's just a really big help. But I appreciate y'all just watching and you know, clicking on my video, and I really hope to see you on the next video. Y'all have a nice day. Bye bye.